Hello everybody and welcome to the Lincoln Students' Union Elections 2021 question time. This is the question time for all candidates running in the VP Education category. How this is going to work is each candidate will be invited first to give a 1-minute speech. Following that, we have prepared 2 questions with an additional question from the Board of Trustees. We also have created the opportunity for students to ask questions via Instagram, so you can head over and find those there. And students are also able to submit questions via Instagram and Facebook throughout the live. Please ensure that these are appropriate questions for all candidates and are not manifesto specific or personal to particular candidates. Each candidate will have 30 seconds to answer each question, and I will raise my hand like this when there is 5 seconds remaining. Please remember to keep your comments respectful if you wish to engage in the live chat. So we'll get straight into it with the 1-minute speeches, and we're starting with Talia. Over to you, Talia.
Hi everyone, my name's Talia and I'm running to be a Vice President Education. I've been a course rep, a school rep, a college officer, treasurer of tier, and I've worked at Engine Shed. But I want to continue to improve your academic and wider student experience by becoming your VPE. My main manifesto areas are on enhancement of academic support, which will look at careful tailoring of teaching and learning, standardised assessment feedback and consistent personal tutoring, focus on equality, diversity, inclusion, which will involve introducing equality, diversity, inclusion reps to each school, keeping the university to account for any projects and pledges to address equality, diversity, inclusion, and ensuring there's a range of social events across the year, and finally support for student development and ideas, which will look at enhancing employability opportunities, supporting academic societies, and ensuring reps have excellent provisions to represent all students. So if you like what you've heard, then make sure you vote T #1 VP for change you'll see.
Thank you, Talia. Next up, we have Phil. Over to you, Phil.
Hello, everyone. For those who do not know me, my name is Phil Morgan. I'm a third-year psychology student who is running to be your next VP Education. I've been a rep, recruiter, and ambassador at the SU. I want to carry on my good work as the new VPE. My policies are, I ask, improve access to educational wellbeing and employability service online on campus, support for all students, especially postgraduate mature students who are often underrepresented at the university, finally improving knowledge via strengthening feedback mechanisms across all courses. All of these policies are aimed at improving your educational experience at Lincoln. And if you want to take one thing from my campaign, it is that I will aim to create real change based upon your student voice, which will be the heart of everything I do. So I ask you to elect me, Phil Morgan, to be your next VP Education.
Thank you, Phil. And last up, we've got James. Over to you, James.
Hi, everyone. I'm James. I'm running to be your next VP Education as well, as you might have guessed. I've been lucky to work with so many people out of here as school rep, society president, PG rep, academic societies officer, and I've loved all my time at the Students' Union. I'd love to keep it going to represent students as VP Education. My main manifesto points include decolonising the curriculum across campus, making the campus actively activist, not just passively, providing far more support for academic societies through a baseline program like I've been doing through the past year, massively increasing representation for both PG and international students through extra reps, and alumni events and school balls for students who missed out on them due to the pandemic. Really appreciate a #1 vote for VP Education. Thanks very much for listening.
Thank you, James. So now we will move on to our questions. And just to make you all aware, the person who answers first will change each time. So the first question is, what would you do to increase awareness of and support for the academic representation system and encourage students to become part of the system? Remember, you have 30 seconds to answer, and the first person to go is Phil.
So I would love to see more representation. So more improvement around representation, including things like rep hoodies for officers, find my rep page on Blackboard, and general more advertisement across the education. So more people are interested in reps, and if you improve more rep visibility, more people will know where to go and know who to speak to, and that will cascade all the way up across the university.
Thank you, Phil. Next up to answer is James.
So rep awareness is something I'm really passionate about, something I've been working on loads, especially in the past 2 years. What I would do is really emphasize the fact that as a rep, you get so many opportunities to help out with your course. It's great fun. And I'd perhaps investigate moving to a non-elected system for course reps. I think that would massively increase the amount of individuals who get going for roles and really increase the quality of feedback.
Thank you, James. And finally, Talia.
Yeah, so as I said, I've been a course rep, school rep, and college officer. So I've been part of all of the representation systems. So I've got really good awareness and would be able to support people in those roles. I also think that rep visibility is super important. It's one thing I want to work on in terms of increasing rep provisions. So whether that's digital resources to get people's faces out there, working with the academics and schools to ensure that reps are visible, and in that way we can improve awareness too.
Thank you. Question number 2 is, what steps would you take to work with the university to address decolonising the curriculum? And first answer is James.
So I'm glad I'm first to answer on this one. It's my main manifesto point. I would work with scholars across the university, particularly in the equality, diversity and inclusivity committees, to make sure we have effective representation of viewpoints all across campus. I think events in the news in the past few weeks have proven how important it is to have a decolonized curriculum on campus. We need more female scholars on reading lists. We need more people from non-European areas. It's really important. Thank you.
Thank you, James. Next to answer is Talia.
So there's already amazing work that's going in to help address this. One way that I help to improve this as well is by introducing equality, diversity and inclusion reps to each school. I really want these reps to work really closely with equality, diversity and inclusion committees in schools and colleges to ensure that there's student focus so we can work on these really important issues such as decolonising the curriculum. And I think this way we can ensure that we have action rather than just plans.
Thank you, and we have Phil.
I would love to gather student and staff feedback on the area, speak to staff and see what their kind of opinion is. Maybe develop each student rep a bit of training on the area and who they can speak to and how they can improve it. Thank you.
Thank you, Phil. And we'll now move on to the question from the Chief Executive on behalf of the Board of Trustees. Just before I read this question, just a reminder, if you have any questions, you are able to submit them into the Facebook Live. When things don't work, the SU is there for you. What would you do to make sure students know their rights and what to do if something goes wrong with their studies? And for this question, we'll start with Talia.
So as a college officer this year, this is something I've been really passionate about. So around sort of safety nets with obviously the craziness of the pandemic and ensuring that students know exactly what support they've got. I think it's really important that we're raising awareness, whether that's through social media, ensuring that academics are cascading this information, and just improving the awareness of these resources already will be a massive help. And I'm really passionate to ensure that happens and that students know exactly what their eligibilities are in terms of rights, and they absolutely get them.
Thank you. And next up to answer is Phil.
Yeah, this couldn't be a more important question right now. I want to make sure that all student reps understand exactly where to go with feedback. I want to make sure that signposting is much more clear online and on campus across the university. If people don't know their rights, then they don't know where to go, and they may not be happy within the university at any point. So this couldn't be any more important.
Thank you. And finally to answer is James.
To be blunt, simple, achievable goal. I know the SU and university have massively expanded the services they've provided over the past few years, but just have some easily accessible information on the Students' Union website of the basics. You know, what's an extension? What's a course rep? What are extenuating circumstances? Just so that's there, because I think we assume people know more than they do. And a lot of students have come to me as rep in the past 2 years and go, what are these things? So just put it there, easy.
Thank you, James. I can see that we have a question on Facebook. And the question is, do you have any plans to reinforce academic support for students? If so, what do you hope to do to achieve this? And first to answer this one is Phil.
What do they exactly mean by what kind of academic support? So could I ask Angela what kind of academic support they mean, or is that not allowed?
You can ask if she has time to type in the comments.
Yes. Could you just say a little bit more on the question, because I quite like to know. If you wouldn't mind. Sorry, I'll let everyone else go.
We'll just wait for that to happen so that everybody has the same question to answer, all right? While we're waiting for that, just a reminder again that voting is open until 2 p.m. this Friday, and you have a chance to vote via the Students' Union app or also on the website at lincolnsu.com. You can see that Angela is just typing. If you'd like to submit a question yourself, you can do this via the Lincoln SU Instagram or on the Facebook Live. Just a reminder that all questions need to be open to all candidates and not manifesto specific. So Angela has just added support either in the lead up to assessments and during assessments. Currently, there are some resources available through the library to help with this, such as referencing workshops, but I strongly believe more can be done. So that's just a little bit of extra information about what they meant by academic support. So the original question again is, do you have any plans to reinforce academic support for students? If so, what do you hope to do to achieve this? And your time starts now.
Sorry about that. Thank you. No, I would like to introduce more clear feedback about things like extensions, so students know exactly when they can get extensions. Things like learning support plans, because some students don't understand that they actually haven't been able to have a learning support plan. And if you have a learning support plan, that can help you around assessments. But beyond that, I'd like to just collect student feedback, and then I can base my policies upon the student feedback and improve on academic support.
Thank you, Phil. Next up to answer is James.
I think it's a fantastic question, and it's something I address in my manifesto. I'd really like to push the academic support that is currently available get extra awareness through academic societies and increase reps, particularly for PG and international students who often need the support the most. I think a lot of work can be done around personal tutor reform, but mostly the resources are there. It's just a question of accessibility and getting the message out to the people who need it. And I have a plan to deal with that.
Thank you. And next up we have Talia.
So this is already something that I've been working on as a college officer, because again, around safety nets, we really had to make sure students knew exactly what academic support was out there. And it made me aware that we really need to do more. So that's why in my manifesto, I want to ensure there's consistent personal tutoring, because personal tutors are great for academic support and advising on things like extenuating circumstances, but also really great point of call for pastoral support, and can direct to services in case you need sort of pastoral support alongside. So it's definitely something I want to do.
Thank you, Talia. I can see we have another question submitted via Facebook. So the question is, do you have any plans to help connect academic societies to their respective disciplines within the university, as they're currently not very widespread in most subjects? And this time we're going to start with James.
So again, dead happy with this question. As academic societies officer the past year, this is something I've been working massively on. One of my manifesto points is getting a baseline set of support for all academic societies on campus. So all students, no matter what school they're in, will know to expect a similar level of support from their academic society. And equally, it's about working with the academic society and the school itself, which we've seen great in a lot of schools like social and political science and history, to get the support from the university.
Thank you. And next answer is Talia.
So this is something that I addressed in my manifesto as well. So I really want to increase connections and support for academic societies. And one way I hope to do this is introducing college-specific cluster reps. These reps would then work really closely with our academic reps and also hopefully attend academic meetings, because I think there's a lot more that schools and colleges can do to get behind academic societies. And that's really something I hope to work on so they can achieve their goals.
Thank you, Talia. And last answer is Phil.
This is something I didn't include in my manifesto, but it's something that's very, very important to me. I'd like to see more educational subjects pick up academic societies. I'd like to see more representation, and more importantly, more support for those societies from the educational level all the way up to societal level. So yeah, it's just hugely important and something that I'd definitely like to work on as VP.
Thank you, Phil. So that concludes our Vice President Education question time, as there are no more questions. Thank you to all of our candidates for Vice President Education for answering the questions today, and thank you to all of you for watching this question time. As a reminder, you have until 2 p.m. this Friday, the 19th of March, to cast your vote. Please head to www.lincolnsu.com to read the manifestos and make your voices heard. Thank you.